What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam, and today we're getting back to work on this 2006 YZ250 build right here. Sorry for the delay last week. I was feeling a little bit under the weather and just didn't get the parts in to get a video up on this bike or the Banshee shifter cart. But today we are back to work and hopefully going to get pretty much everything done on this bike besides just the plastics and graphics, and then maybe even get the first start going today. So if you guys enjoy the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. But I think we're going to start here on the rear brake system and get that put on. Alright guys, well I got the rear brake assembly all back on the bike and it's looking amazing, but I just want to take a minute to talk about today's video sponsor and then also a really common question I get from you guys. So the last thing we need to do is actually to torque down these bolts, and I get questions a lot of how do I know the torque specs, or how do I know where everything goes together as I'm putting bikes back together. Well, that comes down to the service manual, and I get my service manual from eManuals online. I'll have their website here up on the screen. But the reason I use eManuals online is because they have a really awesome website with pretty much every year, make, and model I'm going to need. They use the same manuals that dealership technicians use, and their manuals are also at an affordable price, and I can download them immediately. So I'll show you guys here on the computer how I use the manual and how it helps me save time in the shop. Okay, so here on the computer, basically what I do is I'll just, in this case, we're looking for the rear brake master cylinder torque spec. So I'll just type in rear brake and then just M for master cylinder, and then we're already on the torque spec page. This is 76 of 596 pages. So normally I would have just been flipping through a paper manual if that's what I was using. But it brought me right here in just a second, and then you can see it's 7.2 foot-pounds is our torque spec. So if I didn't know where something goes, or I wanted to bring up a certain section, all I have to do is search, or I can look at the contents here on the page. But yeah, it saves me a ton of time, and I also have a discount code for you guys down in the description if you guys want to get a manual for your bike. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just a super convenient process to get the service manual right away for your bike. So I'm going to go ahead, go back and get to work on the YZ250. Okay guys, well the next step is to throw the wheels on. Unfortunately, as I mentioned in the last video, these hubs are not going to work because the bearing spacing is incorrect, and just the overall size of the spacers right here isn't going to match up with the YZ250. I did a ton of research to see if a machine shop could do it, but it's just not going to be cost effective. So I'm going to go ahead and get these OEM hubs powder coated and then just throw them on here instead of this one. I'm probably not going to show the process very much, just because I've already done it, but I do want to just show a little bit just because it's pretty cool to watch, and then we'll go ahead and throw these wheels on there. All right, guys. Well, the wheels are all powder coated and they look awesome. They're right back to where they were before. So definitely took a lot of work to do that, but I'm just glad that we can finally throw them on the bike now. And I just want to show you guys what I'm going to be using here on the rear wheel. So I'm going to be running a Super Sprach Stealth rear sprocket. So why I'm choosing this one is just because it's going to be a two-piece sprocket. So basically you're going to get the durability of the steel, but then the inner part's lightweight aluminum. So you're going to get overall just more lightweight, but you're not giving up that durability. So definitely pro to running these two pieces is because you're just going to get the same durability as you would from steel, but it's just going to be half the weight. So decided to run this. I'll have it down below in the description for you guys to check out. I'm also going to be running new brake discs here for the front and rear from Pro X. So these ones I used on the 125 as well. Just chose them just because they're lightweight and have way more cooling than OEM does. Just they have more cooling area on them, but also more braking surface on them. So just overall a better decision to go with these, get a little bit more stopping power, and they're a pretty affordable price. So I'll have them down below in the description as well. But yeah, now we're ready to just throw these on the wheel, and then we can finally put the wheels on this bike. I did go down to 49 tooth in the rear. I think stock's 50 because I'm going to be doing some desert riding with this bike, and then also I'm probably going to get like a 51 or 52 size rear sprocket for the trails. Alright guys, I almost forgot. I gotta install the axle block adjusters here. I want to make sure actually to put some anti-seize on these just so they don't seize up in there. Alright guys, well it feels really good to finally have this wheel on here. I think it looks awesome. I did use the Tusk axle block sliders, which blend in really nicely with all the other anodized blue on here. And I haven't mentioned to you guys yet, but these chain slider bolts actually came with this Bolt motorcycle hardware kit that I've been using on pretty much everything exterior on this bike. It's just been really handy to have. It came with all the bolts for the rotor and sprocket. And then it even came with little stuff like the exhaust springs and the foot peg tie straps here. So just little things like that I didn't even expect it to come with, but have been super handy on the rebuild process. And then it also has these thread chasers here for the M8 and then the M10 metric size bolts. So after sandblasting and powder coating, sometimes the thread gets a little dirty. So it's nice to be able to chase them out and get them all fresh with those. And yeah, just overall super handy to have, so I'll have this link down below in the description for you guys to check out. But the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead, throw on the chain, the rear brake line, and maybe even the rear airbox, and just kind of finish off this rear end. Alright guys, well, we finally got the wheel on, and it just feels good to finally have this thing on here. Everything's looking awesome. The chain was actually from Super Sprachs as well. So super excited to run this O-ring chain on here. It'll last a lot longer in enduro riding. And then got the slack set up where it needs to be. Also, these chain sliders are from TM Design Works. These actually already came on the YZ. I just decided to run them since they were in good shape. Didn't need to replace them. And then this front case saver, I think this is TM Design Works, but it doesn't really have a brand name on it. And then also put on a new chain roller here. This is from All Balls. And they also sent over a lower one I'll be putting on later, and I'll show you guys why I'm waiting to put that on here in a minute. But first, the next step is I'm going to take off this subframe and then actually throw on a new airbox and switch over this air boot to the new airbox. And the reason why I'm switching it over is just because the new plastic kit that I got, which I'm not going to show you guys in this video, but some of you guys can actually probably guess what kit I'm using because of this airbox right here. But I'm going to swap this over because this is going to go with the new plastic kit. And yeah, I'm going to put this on. I'm actually going to have to remove the subframe to do that. And then I'll hook it all up to the Electron, and we should be pretty much done here on the back end of the bike. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and just temporarily throw on the front wheel. I realized somehow I lost the front wheel spacers here, so I'm going to have to order a new set. But I do want to just see the front wheel on here. And then also I'm going to need to take it off the stand here in a second. So I'm going to go ahead, put this front wheel on temporarily. Alright guys, well, I got some awesome parts here that are really going to help make this bike just a super great enduro and desert bike. So Trail Tech sent over a kickstand for the bike. They also sent over the Trail Tech Vapor computer, but this kickstand is going to be super helpful. As you know, the MX bikes don't have a kickstand, but this will just be super convenient on the trails and whatnot. And then it also comes with a longer bolt because it's going to, our chain roller goes right here and it's going to mount up with the chain roller. And then I also have a couple more awesome parts that are going to be enduro related here. So I'm super excited because P3 sent over a carbon fiber skid plate. This thing's absolutely awesome. It's pretty thick carbon fiber, feels really tough in my hand. So super pumped to put this on. Just overall looks awesome. And then they also sent over a pipe guard, which is going to help keep that FMF pipe really fresh and just no dents in it. So super excited about this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and throw this all on here. Put the kickstand on first, that way I can take the bike off the stand and then put our guard on under the engine here. Alright guys, well, all this carbon stuff and the kickstand just looks awesome on here. This bike is totally starting to look like an enduro bike. But the next step is actually the Phathead racing head here. Lucas, the owner of Phathead Racing, has basically been upgrading these heads each time he sells out of this older design here. So he sent over the new upgraded design, and you can see it looks a lot cooler than the old design. It's got just more machine work on it, and it's also lighter, and it uses the stock mounts here, so you're going to keep that stock frame geometry. So I'm super excited to try out this newer design here. Definitely looks, this old design was really cool, but this new design definitely looks awesome, and he even did the custom engraving for me on here. So I'm gonna go throw this guy on here, and I'm actually thinking of maybe giving away this older one to one of you guys. So if this video gets 1,000 likes, go smash that like button. I will give this head away to one of you guys in the final reveal video, which will be the next video. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead, throw this on here, and then throw on the exhaust, and we should be pretty much good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw on this FMF shorty pipe here that came with the bike. I'm gonna get a turbine core too, just because this bike's gonna be used on the trails, but I don't have that yet, so I'll just go ahead and throw on this pipe for now. Okay, so the exhaust system is looking awesome on here now that we got the P3 pipe guard on here. Just overall looks awesome, but I do want to mention I put on a bigger seal here because the stock one actually has an issue with leaking on these YZ250s. So I'll put a link to where I got it. I got it from OEM Dirt Bike Parts along with this exhaust mount here. But yeah, let's go ahead, take the bike outside and see how awesome it looks in some good lighting. Alright guys, thank you for watching to the end of the video. We got a ton of stuff done on the bike today. I'm super excited to get the final reveal done to share with you guys, so make sure you have your post notifications on for that. If you guys want to see behind the scenes stuff on the bike before it reaches YouTube, make sure to follow me on Instagram. And then also, if you guys want to help support the channel so I can take on bigger and better projects, make sure to shop your power sport parts at the D-Zone. Thanks guys, and I'll catch you next time.